Hey everybody, it's Riff Raff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation for the Dwarven Vault. And today we're going to do a monster review. And once again, the focus is on original AD&D monster manual and more the entry-level monsters, primarily subterranean, that you would encounter and often get forgotten about in today's world of 5e and all the wonderful new monsters that have been added to the lexicon of monsters available within D&D over the past multiple decades. I don't want to think about how long that actually is. So today what we're going to focus on is two very simple monsters that fortunately their reputation precedes them and tend to be rather easily recognized or recognized before folks get into too much trouble, but at the same time are once again ones that can do a respectable amount of damage or cause death and are relatively weak creatures in terms of how they're able to stand up against a typical party and their collection of armaments and magic. So, who are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about two monsters that blend well together, that are used primarily in, once again, subterranean or certainly very dark and dank environments, not sunny environments typically. And that is the Shrieker and the violet fungi. So a Shrieker is really something that if it detects movement nearby, and they vary in size, they can be from a couple feet tall up to, roughly man-sized. Those are pretty rare. And if they feel a disturbance within a certain radius, they begin shrieking very loudly. Typically, this goes on for about 3 melee rounds. And naturally, this tends to bring any wandering monsters or other things around to life. And of course, if there's other Shriekers nearby, one can trigger a whole series of them. A lot of fun. Scares the living crap out of the party. And it's one that, from a player standpoint, may not ruin your day, but may set up your day for being ruined, if you catch my drift. Now, intermingled frequently with these Shriekers, who, by the way, can move. Okay, no, they can't run around on their own feet, but at the same time, they can move. There's also the violet fungi. Now, they look very, very similar to a Shrieker, but they also have a key difference. They tend to have anywhere from 1 to 4 stalks that hang off the side of the mushroom-like body that a violet fungi or a Shrieker has. Now, what does that do? Well, it actually is like a whip or a tentacle that, if you get too close to it, will whip out at you, and if it hits you with something that now will rot flesh on an ongoing basis, round to round, unless you either make a save versus poison when it first hits you, or you would have to have a cure disease cast upon you. For a pretty minor creature, that's a pretty nice punch. So the two of them mixed together can be pretty deadly, because once the Shrieker goes off and startles you as a character, you then have a tendency to jump out of the way or jump back, and at that point you may be jumping into the path of one of these tentacles from one of these nasty little violet fungi. Pretty nasty, huh? So from a player character standpoint, I talked to some of our dedicated cadre of Hornhelm gamers who shared with me that these were really nasty. They didn't like them. They usually didn't do a lot of direct damage, but they usually called other things around that came running. The Shriekers are beloved, I believe, of purple worms and what's the other one? Shambling Mounds. And you don't want either of those called if you're a gaming party. Purple Worms are a pretty good fight, I gotta say, depending on what your level is, of course. So, that's the Violet Fungi and the Shrieker from the original AD&D Monster Manual. One that as a DM, they're very fun to employ in a dungeon. One that as a player are annoying as hell, like most monsters are in one form or another. And are, let's think of it as a gateway drug to a larger creature and a bigger battle. So, we hope you enjoyed today's presentation. If you did, please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, come back and see us again real soon. And remember, dwarves rock!